It's 2026 and I'm finally home in Munich, done with traveling. And it's been over a year since I and the rest of the team based in Germany for Azure Customer Experience Engineering got laid off to the extent that it's possible in Germany. It's been over a year, but it was not a sabbatical. It was a really tough journey, not because of the layoffs. As I said in a previous video, I am overall extremely grateful for the past 6, 7 years at Microsoft because it's allowed me to really build up wealth. And, a lot of that was smart decisions I made to max out, for example, the amount that I can buy in Microsoft stock at the employee discount per month. And that afforded me the freedom to do what I've been doing for the past year as I recover, which is a lot of traveling to visit friends and family. So I'm the only one in my family living in Germany, which makes it hard, especially as my parents age. Despite everything, I did meet a lot of amazing people at Microsoft who were my mentors. My role was unfortunately remote first, so I never got to meet them in real life, at least not officially. In many of my travels, both in previous years but also last year, I spent my own money to go to places like Texas, California, previously as well Seattle, to visit people who, were my mentors, or just I work closely with and really motivate me to grow, to do my best work. It was worth the thousands of dollars and time that I spent doing that, and I'm really, really grateful. So what's next? Many people thought I took a sabbatical like then and this year, and actually last year was anything but a sabbatical. Post layoff, some stuff happened in my own personal situation that sent me down a actually really bad spiral. It took many months of therapy for me to just feel like a good human being again. And in the fall, even my friends noticed. In German, you say strahlen, like you're not just smiling, you're radiating. And that's normally who I am. And yeah, it took a really long time. And it wasn't until the fall when I decided to ask for a severance and basically say, hey, I'll go. If you, pay me, I'll go. And during that time last year, I don't wish darkness on anybody. But also, like, it wasn't like I was sitting here in front of the computer doing stuff. I was supposed to be looking for a new job, and I was, but I didn't feel like I could get one. And I literally could not sit in front of the computer. There were, some weeks where I updated my website, I was motivated, and then something would happen, and I just couldn't look at the computer for weeks at a time. I instead spent it rebuilding my desk and literally going to the hardware store, buying a giant piece of solid oak wood, getting it cut, and then rounding the edges myself and doing the oiling and all this other stuff myself, or setting up a Raspberry Pi with a camera to try to catch pigeons and crows on my balcony that are tossing flowers, or just I don't want pigeons growing a nest. I couldn't sit and focus on code. And even after I felt better, I still felt like, am I employable? And that is just low self-esteem. And if I look back at the person who I was many years ago, I've always been somebody who's super passionate and will go above and beyond because I like it. I will code until 1 a.m., which is not healthy and I don't encourage it. But if I am in the zone, I am in the zone and I will do it. So this year, at some point, I realized I will find a job and I will find an employer and a team that I want to work for, who I want to work with. And I shouldn't rush that. I want to, as part of my professional recovery, just enjoy coding again, just make stuff. I firmly believe that I can learn faster on my own. So, you can do certifications or courses and say you're an AI engineer, whatever that means. Or you can just do it, build stuff. And I did do a boot camp from Byte Go because I'm a huge fan of their Byte Go newsletters, which talk about engineering from real life perspectives and how companies like Pinterest or Uber do things. So it's not about just, oh, here's the golden template people can take if they're starting from scratch. But it's like, how does this really look like in real life? What trade-offs do you make? What are things that maybe look like mistakes on the surface, but are actually based on, business constraints? So I did that and it was amazing. I had this sort of epiphany moment where I realized, oh, AI engineering is just software and cloud engineering on steroids. And because extracting business value, it's just what I did in the past as an enterprise architect, right? It's not about just adding a chatbot. It's why we get so frustrated with using that. And so I started building some stuff. I built an I built a AKS architect or some sort of advisor that would, it was chatbot based, but it could design a cluster for you based on your requirements, which you inputted either via a web UI or chat interface. And it's all on GitHub. And in the coming weeks, I will try to actually explain it, how I built it, and in part for you to also, if you're in the similar boat, to be motivated to see it's not as scary as people make it out to be. I think AI engineering sets a really, really high bar, but it's not that scary. In the past weeks, I've also been working on a personal app to solve a personal problem that has to do with sort of finances. One of the reasons why I'm so motivated about technology again is also I can use whatever I want. So the apps I've deployed to Vercel. I'm using a platform called trigger.dev. And I was like, wow, this is what serverless should feel like. This is how it should really work. And so that's been really sort of motivating. I am publishing today being June 3rd, a article about my setup, my YubiKey and GPG setup. So this one is from 2019, I think. Okay, it's not focusing properly. But basically, it's on my keys. And every time I needed to commit something, I was looking for my house keys. It's also vulnerable to a particular hack where people could read the private key if they actually physically got my key. So I figured I would set up new ones. There's a little one that's permanently plugged into my computer. And then I created sort of a backup that's identical that you can use. And one of the things I did for this year is that I'm enabling touch as required, right? So this is gold contact that if you want to use the key, whether it's for auth or signing, you have to touch it. And that's really important because if you're using AI, right, I don't want AI to commit changes on my behalf as me. So, me is on this card. Now, the guide has since been published, actually almost 2 weeks ago, and it's geared actually more for junior and mid-level developers. So the reason why it took so long to write this, even with AI, is that no, I'm writing it for somebody who doesn't have the experience to know what to look at. So I'm not just editing the code and the setup. And so I talk about, the flaws, insecurities, stuff landing in your shell profile, etc. But you can come and read this. Okay, and this part talks about what happened, how I almost deleted the home folder. And so Claude or any AI assistant will write all these steps, which individually work. And usually when you stitch them together, they'll work as well. But one of the things you do as a more experienced engineer is before you delete anything, you're like, wait a minute, where is this pointing at? Especially because I know it had me change it just to verify something. And if I had done exactly blindly what AI said to do, I would have deleted the primary key and had to start over, which is annoying. And yeah, so, if you're a bit newer to this, you can kind of read this. I think down here as well, I say what the exact differences are. And if you actually go to the GitHub page, I should have made this bigger. It's much longer because it sets up the actual multiple keys. The article only goes through one key. And I think because I'm not going to make another video to explain, if you're interested in how I did it, how I used AI to write, and I'll do videos more about coding, then the article I published the other day explains that more and explains as well how I use actually 3 different AI services for which I pay on a daily basis. Yeah, okay, so just interjecting this video here, and hopefully I will publish it today, Wednesday, June 17th. Let's see.